This video is sponsored by Classic Football Shirts, the best place to get your classic and vintage football shirts. To get cheap retro Palace shirts, click the link in the description below. And for an extra 10% off, use the code CFSPJ10 at checkout. Hello and welcome to the Crystal Palace podcast. I'm Alfonso Greenbrook, and in today's podcast, I'll be looking over the recent transfer window, which saw the arrival of Vicente Guaita, Cheikhou Kouyate, Meyer and Jordan Ayew. I'll be reading the official statements from the club, as well as giving you their first interviews as Palace players. I'll also be discussing the players who've left the club on a permanent and loan basis, so let's begin. On the 8th of June, it was announced that Vicente Guaita had joined the club as they released this statement. Crystal Palace FC can confirm that goalkeeper Vicente Guaita will join the club on a 3-year deal. The 31-year-old shotstopper will officially become a Palace player on the 1st of July when his contract at Getafe expires, and is Roy Hodgson's first signing of the summer. The Eagles fought off interest from a host of top European clubs to capture Guaita, who began his career at Valencia where he made more than 100 appearances before moving to Getafe in 2014. Last season he kept 12 clean sheets to help his side to an 8th place finish in their first season back in La Liga. Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish said, "We are delighted to sign one of La Liga's best goalkeepers and are pleased that we have beaten off so much competition for his signature. We are very much looking forward to Vicente joining pre-season training and helping us push on in the Premier League." Now for Vicente's first interview as a Palace player. Be aware it is in Spanish.
Vicente, bienvenido a Crystal Palace. ¿Cómo te sientes al ser un jugador Palace?
Bueno, contento, ¿no?, por la nueva experiencia. Yo creo que todo jugador lo que quiere es jugar a nivel top. La Liga, la Premier, creo que es, si no la mejor liga, de las mejores ligas del mundo. Y yo estoy muy contento de poder estar este año y por unos cuantos años más defendiendo la camiseta del Palace en la Premier.
Desde enero has sabido que vendrías aquí. ¿Has visto muchos partidos del equipo?
Sí, he visto los que he podido, sobre todo a trozos, a partidos pues cuando yo estaba a lo mejor en el hotel, cuando estaba en casa, tengo niños y cuando me dejaban ponerlo lo ponía y cuando no pues tenía que ver dibujos. Pero sí que he visto bastantes partidos, he sufrido porque había momentos que el equipo estaba abajo de la clasificación, pero una vez salió de los puestos de descenso ya pues he disfrutado, ¿no?, viendo los partidos.
Hemos tenido un buen final de temporada, ¿no te parece?
Sí, exacto, lo que te estoy contando. Cuando yo firmé, el equipo estaba más o menos bien y cuando en teoría se pasaron esos meses, se sufrió mucho, pero yo creo que se ha demostrado que el Palace tenía un muy buen equipo y a final de temporada la afición lo ha disfrutado y ha podido quedar en una posición muy bonita que ha sido la 11, ¿no? La 11ª.
Has jugado contra los mayores equipos de España. ¿Tienes ganas de poder jugar contra los grandes equipos de Inglaterra?
Sí, como te digo, para mí la Liga Española es una gran liga. Yo, porque estoy allí, llevo ya muchos años y a lo mejor la veo una liga normal, ¿no? Una liga que es muy buena liga para nosotros, pero para mí la Premier League, pues si no está por encima de la Liga Española, pues es también de las mejores, ¿no? Se dice que siempre pues, el fútbol inglés es mejor que todos los fútboles. Y sí que me apetece, ¿no? Yo creo que una de las cosas de poder venir aquí a Inglaterra es de jugar contra grandes equipos y de poder disfrutar la Premier League.
¿Siempre has querido jugar en la Premier League?
He tenido varios años la posibilidad de poder firmar por algunos equipos de la Premier League. Lo que pasa que al final, pues, por detalles, por circunstancias, no he podido venir aquí a la Premier. Y este año pues se pusieron en contacto con mi agente, el agente del club, del Palace, y al final pues se ha hecho realidad, ¿no?, un sueño.
Los seguidores del Palace están impresionados con tu trayectoria con el Getafe esta temporada. ¿Dirías que estás en la mejor forma de tu carrera?
Bueno, ha sido un año muy bonito, donde hemos conseguido cosas muy importantes. El año pasado del ascenso, este año casi nos metimos en Europa con el equipo que teníamos, de ascender, era el equipo con menos presupuesto de la categoría y creo que ha sido un año muy bonito. Me quedo con los 4 años que llevo en Getafe, con los otros 4 años que estuve o 5 años en el Valencia. Y hay que seguir en esa línea, porque al final con el trabajo van saliendo las cosas y seguiremos trabajando para poder conseguir cosas bonitas con el Crystal Palace.
Te mudas a un país nuevo. ¿Ya has podido visitar Londres?
Sí, el día que vine pues, a estar en el club, a ver lo que era la ciudad deportiva, a ver lo que era Londres, hemos podido visitar poquito, ¿no? Porque al final con 2-3 días Londres es muy grande y visitas poquito, pero bueno, poco a poco tengo unos cuantos años por delante y espero poder visitar todo Londres.
¿Y qué tal el inglés? ¿Has tenido que estudiarlo?
Sí, la verdad que sí, la verdad que desde Navidades hasta ahora pues estoy apuntado en una academia y voy 1 día, 2 días por semana cuando la familia pues coincidimos y se puede, ¿no? Porque tengo 3 niños y en casa, quieras o no, pues hay que ayudar bastante y poquito a poquito voy cada vez aprendiendo más inglés y espero que pronto pueda hablar mucho inglés.
¿Cómo crees que le puede ir al Palace en la Liga la temporada que viene?
Bueno, pues espero que muy bien. Realmente pues desconozco lo que es la Premier League, por eso mi paso a poder jugar la Premier League y espero que muy bien, ¿no? Yo creo que es un club donde está haciendo muy bien las cosas, donde tiene una infraestructura muy grande y creo que hay que seguir en esa línea. Lo que he visto desde fuera, pues que llevan años ya en la Premier y hay que seguir en esa línea y espero que yo pueda ayudar en lo que pueda.
Tienes muchas opciones cuando acabe tu contrato. ¿Por qué te decantaste por el Palace?
Bueno, porque como te digo, tenía varias opciones, ¿no? de poder venir a la Premier League y una de todas, pues sobre todo que está aquí en Londres. Creo que es una ciudad muy bonita, es un sitio donde la familia creo que va a estar muy bien y pregunté a gente que tengo en España de que han estado aquí en la Premier League, que han estado en Inglaterra pues en otros equipos y me dijeron que Londres que no me lo pensara, ¿no? Que sobre todo para la familia, para mí, para lo que me gustaba a mí, lo que era la Premier League, que diera el paso para adelante y que el Crystal Palace era un gran equipo para poder disfrutar.
On the 1st of August, it was announced that Cheikhou Kouyate had joined the club as they released this statement. Crystal Palace are pleased to announce the signing of Cheikhou Kouyate from West Ham United on a 4-year contract for an undisclosed fee. The Senegalese international captain switches from East to South London, having represented the Hammers 129 times in the Premier League across the last 4 seasons, scoring 12 goals in that time. Kouyate, 28, previously represented FC Brussels, Courgette and Anderlecht earlier on in his career, winning 4 league titles in 5 seasons with the latter. He also won 42 caps for Senegal since making his debut in 2012, playing in the 2012 Olympics, 2 African Cup of Nations and this summer's World Cup, where he played in all 3 of his side's group games. Now for Kouyate's first interview as a Palace player.
Jack, welcome to Crystal Palace. How do you feel today?
Thank you. Yes, I'm so happy because it's a long, very long day. But now everything is good. Everything is fine. I'm very excited to start with my new teammate.
Fantastic to have you here. You've been at West Ham since 2014. What made now the right time to make the move to South London?
Yes, this is the right time to move because I need a new challenge. Because I have a good memory to West Ham. Now I need to come here to give my best because I like the Crystal Palace project. It's a very good project and for me it's the best sign for this club.
It's an exciting time for the club. Who have you spoken to? Steve Parish, Dougie Freedman, Roy Hodgson. What excited you about the Crystal Palace?
Firstly in the manager, because he want me. I know him, and I know he's a good manager for me, and he gonna put me high. And I speak with Pap Soare. He told me yesterday, you need to come. I talked to him. No, we have some little problem. He tell me I don't know to know this problem. I tell you come, and now I'm here. Yeah, I'm very, very happy.
So we've got Pap to thank for having you here.
Yeah, thank you, Pap.
You've played a massive role for West Ham in the last 4 seasons, playing nearly 130 games in 4 seasons. How have you kept up your consistency and level of fitness to contribute so much?
I don't know. Maybe my mentality, because I love football, because all Senegalese people love football too much, and every time in the field I give my best, and this is my ambition for this year. I need to come here to give all my best.
You played in a couple of positions for West Ham, at centre-back and centre-midfield. What do you think is your best position?
Midfield, of course. But sometimes I play centre-back, because some players tell me, this is your best position, midfield is your best position. But I like to play midfield. But the best thing for the player is you need to play every game. And I'm here to try to play every game and work hard to give my best to have my teammates.
How much have you enjoyed your time in the Premier League? How much do you think it's the best league in the world?
Yeah, it's best competition in the world. Every player like to be here. Before they told me too many teams want me, I say no. I need to stay here. I need to stay in England, because I love this city, and this is why I love this Premier League.
You've played against Crystal Palace a few times. Last season, a 1-1 draw and a 2-2 draw. What did you think of Palace when you played against them going into the games?
The 2-2 game we play here, Palace scored in the last minute. I remember this game. It's so hard for me and my team, but it's a good team. It's you never know with this team. Every time they chance, but for me it's one of the very, very good team in this Premier League. We just need to looking forward and looking what thing is no good last year, and just need to work hard for this one.
And what are your memories about playing at Selhurst Park? We're proud of our famous atmosphere at Selhurst Park. Did you notice the noise?
Yes, I know this atmosphere is unbelievable atmosphere, and now I'm very excited for that.
Let's talk about Senegal. You've played 42 times for your country, and you captained them at the World Cup. But Senegal didn't get out of the group stages. That must have been a massive disappointment for you.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, because we have 2 more yellow cards than Japan. We have same point, we have same goal, but we go out for fair play. It's very, very hard for me. But now we just need to focus, because we have a very, very good team. And now we have the African national coming next June, and we need to ready for this one.
Thinking about some players you've played with, we've got a couple at Crystal Palace that you've played with. Luka Milivojevic at Anderlecht, you played with Luka, and also James Tompkins at West Ham. I know you've spoken to Pat. Have you spoken to Luka or James?
Yes, I know Tonks. Yeah, he's a good guy and a good teammate and a good player. I play with him, and also I play with Luka in Anderlecht. Good guy, good captain, and good player also. No, this is a good thing for me, because like family, I need.
Palace play Toulouse on Saturday at Selhurst Park in the last pre-season friendly, and then it's Fulham next week. Are you fit and raring to go?
Maybe. We're gonna know tomorrow.
You'll be straight into training tomorrow?
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve with Palace this season and looking further ahead?
Top 10. How bad now?
Easy. Finally, what's your message to the Crystal Palace fans?
Yeah, just continue to support the team. We are here for you, and they have here for the team. And this year, it's not the same for. It's gonna be not the same for last year. This year I promise them very good season. Yeah.
South London and proud.
On the 2nd of August, it was announced that Max Meyer had joined the club as they released this statement. Crystal Palace have completed the signing of German international midfielder Max Meyer, who has agreed a 3-year deal at Selhurst Park. The 22-year-old becomes the Eagles' third summer arrival following Vicente Guaita's capture last month and Cheikhou Kouyate's switch from West Ham United, and Meyer will wear the number 7 shirt in South London. Capped 4 times by Germany, Meyer was a free agent following the end of his Schalke contract, where he had progressed through their youth ranks to make 192 appearances for the German side, including 3 UEFA Champions League campaigns. During that time he netted 22 goals and provided 24 assists for the club, helping them to finish runners-up in last season's Bundesliga. At international level, the central midfielder has thrived, helping his nation win a silver medal at the 2016 Olympic Games, and then clinching the UEFA European Under-21 Championship the following year, where he was named in the team of the tournament. He also received an accolade at Under-17 level en route to helping Germany to a runner-up slot in 2012, when Meyer finished as the competition's top scorer and named its best player. He made the step up to the full national side in 2014 and has gone on to win 4 caps, scoring his maiden international goal against Finland in August 2016. Now for Meyer's first interview as a Palace player.
Max, willkommen in London.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here at Crystal Palace Football Club. How do you feel?
I feel very good. I'm very happy to be here now. I can't wait to start the training with the team, and I hope we play a good season. Yeah, I'm proud to be here. I hope I can do the next step in my career, and I want to give my best, and I think we can play a good season, maybe better than the last season, and I'm happy.
You've been at Schalke since you were a very young man. How do you think the Bundesliga will compare to the Premier League?
I think the Premier League is tougher and faster than the Bundesliga. Every weekend you have a special game, like in the Champions League, and in the Bundesliga are 1 or 2 teams. They are like a Champions League teams, and here is every week.
You played nearly 200 times for Schalke. You started as a more attacking midfielder, but last season had a more defensive, deeper role. What do you think your best position is and your key playing strengths?
I think my best position is between the number 6 and number 10, so the number 8. And yeah, my best strength. I think it's better when other people decide what my best skills are.
Schalke is known to have a fantastic atmosphere, especially when playing Dortmund. Here in London, Selhurst Park is known for its amazing atmosphere. How excited are you to play at Selhurst Park?
We played last season in a friendly game with Schalke there, and the atmosphere was perfect, and I can't wait to see the atmosphere on the Premier League game. My name is Max Meyer, and I'm Crystal Palace new number 7.
On deadline day, it was announced that Jordan Ayew had joined the club as they released this statement. Crystal Palace have completed the deadline day signing of Ghana international Jordan Ayew on a season-long loan from Swansea City. Ayew, 26, boasts plenty of Premier League experience, having played for Aston Villa and Swansea City during the last 4 seasons, and was named Swans Players Player of the Year last term after ending a campaign with 11 goals to his name, including strikes home and away against Palace. Beginning his career in Marseille, Ayew was part of the squad that won the League One title in 2010, as well as 3 successive League Cups, and would also have spells with Shot and Lorente before arriving in England at Villa in 2015. He won his first Ghanaian cap in 2010, just 10 months after his professional debut, and represented them in 3 African Cup of Nations as well as in the 2014 World Cup. He currently has 11 goals in 49 caps. Now for Ayew's first interview as a Palace player.
Jordan,
welcome to Palace. How much are you looking forward to getting started here in London?
I'm very, very pleased to be here. It's been a long transfer window, but finally I got it. I got to make the move, and I thank God.
What was the key factor in you choosing the Eagles?
The manager, the chairman, the sporting director, they all did an effort for me to be here today. So I need to thank them, and yeah, I'm looking forward to play with the boys, and looking forward to meet their fans as well, and just have a good season this season.
Last season you won Player of the Season at Swansea, top goal scorer. So you're coming into this season with a lot of confidence.
No, I'm coming this season because it's a good option for me to come to Palace today, and that's why I chose to come to Palace, is to continue improving. So it's a step for me, and I'm ready for the challenge, and I'm ready to get to where I think I can get to. So that's why I'm here today, and I think with the manager I can get to where I want to.
We're glad you're joining us, because it means you can't score against us this season. Last season you scored in both games. The one in that second game, what do you remember about that?
Yeah, that was a really tough game. I think I was on the bench, and I came in, and I was lucky, and I scored. But I think that was when Palace were in really good form, and they really should have scored maybe 2-3 goals that game. But we were lucky, and we managed to nick a point.
Unfortunately, suffered relegation with Swansea last season. How did you cope with that mentally over the summer?
Well, I don't really like speaking about relegation, because I think we all give our 100%, but in football you need luck, and I think for me, I think we're lucky because we're better than some teams. But like I said, in football you need luck, and if we went down, it means there was something wrong. Where, I don't know, but it's football, and I just have to keep on looking forward. And Swansea as well gave me the opportunity and the chance to come to Palace. It wasn't easy, but at the end they gave me the opportunity and the chance to come to Palace, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, a chance to be back in the Premier League. How much do you love playing in this league?
Obviously, it's the best league in the world, and as all we the players, we all want to play in the Premier League, and today I just need to thank God, because that was my target, to get back into the Premier League, and yeah, Palace gave me the opportunity, so I need to thank Palace, and I need to thank God as well.
You're a versatile player. Play as a striker, also out wide as well. Where do you see yourself fitting into the system at Palace?
Well, the most important thing for me now is just to get fit and to be in good shape, and after, as the manager who will decide. But I don't really mind. I don't know how the manager really wants to use me, but I know he wants to use me up front for me to create and to make things happen. So, like I said, we'll see.
You played with Jeff Schlupp before with Ghana. Did you talk to him?
No, not this time, but I spoke to him like a couple of months ago with the national team and things. Like, he has always been positive about Crystal Palace, and I was just curious. I was just asking, and life is weird. Today I'm here today, and I'm very, very happy.
You're making the move from South Wales to South London. You got lots of friends in this city already?
There's a lot of Ghanaians around, so obviously I have some friends around, and so yeah, it's a very good thing for me, and obviously there will be a lot of more Ghanaian supporters, so it's good.
Your dad is one of Ghana's greatest ever players. Obviously we know about your brothers playing football as well. I think your uncle too. What was it like in your family home growing up? Was it just football?
No, exactly, football. But one thing that I have to say is that my parents never forced me to play football. I was free to do whatever I wanted to do, but it's just sometimes you don't know what happens in life. It's God. So we're a family who is blessed, and we keep on thanking God for every opportunity He gives us, and that's the most important thing.
Finally, you set yourself any targets for this season?
No, like I said, the most important thing for me is for Palace to be in top 10, top 12. That's the most important thing for me. I don't set myself personal targets because I think there's no point for me. I think the sky is the limit, so there's no point for me. And so the most important thing for me is that the team win, and we just stay in the top 12 and have a wonderful season and enjoy it with the fans and with the staff and with everyone.
Thanks a lot.
So now you've heard the club's statements along with the first interviews as Palace players. I'm just going to go through my personal views of the 4 signings we've made this summer, and obviously just to go through a few of the players who have also left on loan and left on permanent deals as well. And obviously if you do want to get involved with your views of the signing, and even if you do disagree with me, then of course do feel free to comment it below or even contact us on Twitter at @eCrystalPalace. But just to go through my general opinion and the opinion of most Palace fans, I would say the majority of our 4 signings. So to start with the goalkeeper Vicente Guaita, obviously we knew in January that he signed a pre-contract deal. We couldn't quite get him in we couldn't quite sign him in that transfer window, so of course we just got him on a pre-contract instead. Joined Palace, and of course, fixes our goalkeeping situation. For a few seasons now, there hasn't necessarily been, no disrespect to Julian Speroni, we know he's a club legend, but he's not as good as he used to be, so there wasn't necessarily that competition for Wayne Hennessy. But by bringing in Guaita, not only are we bringing in another quality keeper, but we're actually bringing in a keeper who can give Hennessy competition, and arguably they could both make each other better in the fact that they're both competing for the same position. Now obviously Speroni, yes, he's a club legend, he's signed a new contract, he's going to be the third choice goalkeeper now, and actually that's fine because our goalkeeping situation at the minute is very strong. We've got 2 solid keepers, one an international one and one who's he's played at the top level in Spain for quite a lot of his career, and then we've got Speroni as well who can come in and do a job. So our goalkeeping situation is basically fine, it's completed, and that was one of the issues we had last season. We only had 2 goalkeepers, then one got injured, Dion Henry had to come into the side, then we brought in Cavalieri, and obviously he didn't play but he was there as like a reserve. So the fact that we've got everything sorted in the goalkeeping department, we've got that issue sorted quite early on in the window, was great. And because we got it done so early on, we can concentrate on other targets and other positions we needed to fill. But in terms of Vicente Guaita, one of the main things he's a fantastic signing is A, because we got him on a free, but B, because he's the 3rd best goalkeeper in La Liga last season. Now, people may say, I've seen people trying to compare him with Fabianski as a comparison. Now, obviously, a few of their stats are different, and obviously, some goalkeepers are going to be better at some things than others at different things. But if you look at him as a whole, Vicente Guaita, don't compare him to other players. Last season, statistically, he was the 3rd best goalkeeper in the Liga. You've got people like Stegen, you've got people like Oblak, top quality players who have been linked with moves away to other bigger clubs, or to big clubs, or at big clubs, and yet Guaita is up there statistically with one of them, which just shows the quality he has. Now, in terms of some of the statistics, I think he got 12 clean sheets in the Liga last season, which is very impressive considering he was part of the Getafe team which just got promoted. The fact that he kept a clean sheet against Barcelona is also very impressive. Things like expected goals, I think he had the highest saves to expected goals ratio or something like that. So the fact that this guy's got the pedigree to make loads of saves, keep clean sheets, and obviously he's also got that experience having played for a few different clubs and obviously being in Spain, that's of course great to see as well. Now, being Balaguer, I believe his name is, he's obviously a Spanish journalist for Sky Sports. He said that Guaita is up there with one of the best Spanish goalkeepers. So the fact that we've got Gallagher, who is a Spanish expert in football, the fact that we've got him saying it's a very good signing is obviously a good sign as well. But the main thing really for me is the fact that yes, we've got a quality player in and that's all good, but one of the main reasons it's a good signing is not only because of his experience, but because we got him on the free. We've got one of the best goalkeepers in La Liga who's still probably got a few years ahead of him in his prime. The fact that we've signed him, I believe it was on a 3-year deal, is of course great to see as well. And like I've said, it fixed we had an issue in the goalkeeping department last season, and now we've totally fixed that, and obviously because we've done it early, it meant we can move on to other positions. But do comment below with your views about Guaita's his signing. But personally for me, I do think it's a good signing. I don't having seen him in pre-season, I don't necessarily think he's going to be thrown in at a deep end quite yet in the Premier League, but we'll just have to wait and see. I think there's still a language barrier there, so he played alright in some of the pre-season games, so I think as soon as he learns a few more phrases and just gets his English a bit better, I'm sure we probably could see him at the end of August when the first round to that Premier League clubs are in the Carabao Cup. I'm sure he'll probably enter at that point and he'll start that game, and hopefully that could be the start of him possibly starting or even just pushing Wayne Hennessy for that first team goalkeeping slot. Now the second signing we made, and this was one, actually the three other signings we made, it came out on the same day in a news article that these players were going to sign for Palace, and obviously Kouyate was the first player of them three players in that article to join Palace. And what you've got to look at is, obviously West Ham has spent a lot of money this season, brought in lots of quality players, and of course because of that they need to get some money back, they need to offload some players, and of course Cheikhou Kouyate was one of the players that Palace were looking at. And mainly for me, I think the main reason is the fact that we lost Yohan Cabaye. We needed a replacement for him, although it's not like for like. We needed a player who could play that defensive midfield role, and certainly Kouyate can do that. Now, for £9.5 million, rising to possibly £11.5 million, I think this is an absolute steal. He may not be the best defensive midfielder, and obviously he plays at centre-back as well, so he may not be the best overall player, but he's got over 100 Premier League appearances, he's got experience from Anderlecht and clubs like that, and the fact that he's played and he's the captain for his national side, that's got to be a good thing. And I personally think it's a very solid signing. It's a very shrewd signing, if we want to call it that, because realistically we needed a replacement for Yohan Cabaye. Yes, it's not exactly like for like, but the fact that we've got a player in his position to come in, give us a bit more squad depth, and just be a solid option off the bench is of course great to see as well, because we know that Luca and obviously MacArthur are pretty solid there, Riedewald as well. But if any of them get injured, or Roy quite often not likes to play MacArthur out wide, so because of that, that's leaving options in the centre of the park. I do think that Kouyate is a good signing for that, and like I've said already, got experience. Yes, West Ham fans may not say he's been brilliant, but if you look at his stats, he's not terrible. He's a pretty good, consistent Premier League player, and obviously that's great as well. And obviously his versatility, playing in defensive midfield, playing at centre-back as well, that alongside his captain skills for his country, that's obviously great as well. So that's one of the things I like with signings. I obviously like signings who are quality, but if they've got that leadership as well, that's obviously a big plus for us. And like I've said, £9.5 million for a Premier League proven player is fantastic. We've seen loads of Premier League players going for massive amounts of money this transfer window, so of course it's actually great to see that players like Cheikhou Kouyate, who are Premier League proven players who can come straight into the squad, the fact that we've got him for basically less than £10 million is obviously fantastic. And West Ham fans are quite happy. They were celebrating the fact that he's left. But if you look at James Tompkins as well, he was a player who West Ham wanted to get rid of only because he weren't really in their first team plans as well. And look how James Tompkins turned out. He turned out to be one of our best defenders in recent years. So it just goes to show that although fans at other clubs may say players are not that good, actually if you look at the stats and you obviously look at managers like Roy Hodgson who can get the best out of players, I certainly do see this as a good signing. And like I've said, personally for me, I imagine he'll take the Cabaye role, and obviously I say the Cabaye role, he'll play defensive midfield where Cabaye used to play, but Cabaye used to drift forward, and ultimately because Kouyate is he's basically just an out and out defensive midfielder, because of that I think it will free up Luka Milivojevic so he can play further forward, which is great, because we saw when Luka goes forward last season, the fact that he can spring fantastic passes, he can take free kicks, he can take shots from outside the box. So actually Kouyate coming in, yes, ultimately he's a replacement for Yohan Cabaye, but actually yes, he's replacing Cabaye, but he's allowing Milivojevic to go further forward and do that Cabaye role, while ultimately essentially Kouyate is sort of replacing that role that Luka had in the team. So overall, a good signing there, overall signing. And like I've said already, the main points is the fact that how much we got him for is pretty cheap, considering our money constraints. It's a really good deal. And obviously the Premier League experience, and of course you know, the leadership he's got from managing his national side as well. Now, our third signing we made, once again, this was announced the day after Kouyate, so it was looking like Max Meyer had completed a deal, that was all finished, but then all of a sudden, Kouyate was announced before and Max Meyer was the day after, so there was a bit of confusion as to which should be announced first, but obviously we announced both of them, and Max Meyer is an absolutely fantastic signing for Palace. Now, people may look at it and go, you know, it's a lot of money, you know, he didn't score any goals or have any assists last season, but actually if you look at the stats, he's a fantastic sort of ball playing defensive midfielder who can go forward, you know, link up play. And if you look at his stats for a defensive midfielder, it doesn't matter about goals or assists, but if you look at things like pass completion rate and tackles per 90, things like that, he excels in them. And, you know, if you compare it to, say, some of the top players in the Bundesliga, he's got to be up there. So it just shows actually that although people may say, oh, he's rubbish, he didn't score or assist any goals last season, actually look at the stats, and for his position, he does really well there. And I must say, you know, he is on a free transfer, which of course is great. You know, the fact that we've got 2 players on free transfers, but also the fact that he's one of the basically Germany's most promising players, and he's been compared to Messi because of his size and because of his skill. You know, you've got to think this is actually quite a promising signing. And personally for me, I think that the people criticising this signing and saying it's not a good signing are either people who are jealous or people who have just never really seen him play, and they just think, well, we couldn't get him because Palace got him, I'm going to say he's a really bad signing. So don't listen to what people say, because I actually think Max Meyer is a very, very solid signing on a free transfer as well, which is of course a great deal. But like I said already, you know, he's a defensive midfielder. Yes, people say he didn't score any goals, didn't get any assists, but look at the stats for a defensive midfielder and you'll see he's probably up there as a really quality one. Now, in terms of positionally, you know, what player he's replaced, I think he's the most close to Yohan Cabaye we're going to get. You know, he's about 10 years, he's 10 years younger. Max Meyer, 22 years old, Yohan Cabaye, 32 years old. So once again, he's the replacement for Yohan Cabaye. So whereas I said that Kouyate probably is one of these replacements, I think it's more likely that Kouyate will be on the bench for squad depth. And I think Max Meyer, if he is going to start, he'll probably play that Yohan Cabaye role where he'll play alongside Luka, pick up the ball from deep and go forward and be that playmaker. And certainly I think that he's the closest player we're going to get to Yohan Cabaye. Not only is he younger, but I think technically he's probably more gifted and he's probably better technically, and of course that's always a good thing when you get an upgrade on a player. And personally for me, I do think, you know, I can't really, it's very hard to put into words this signing, because it's a signing similar to when we signed Yohan Cabaye, in the fact that there was loads of hype around it, because this is a player with so much quality, and of course we're looking forward to seeing him. But like I've said already, a free transfer for one of the most promising German midfielders, you know, at the moment, that's obviously a great deal as well. And like I've said, he's got fantastic statistics, and for those people saying, you know, he didn't get any goals, he didn't get any assists, he should be rubbish, look at someone like Jack Wilshere. I don't think he scored many goals or got many assists last season, but yet many people are hailing him as a fantastic signing, where actually he's probably got similar defensive midfield stats to Max Meyer as well, which just shows actually people are too quick to judge. And I personally think for us, people need to ignore that and actually look a little bit more deeper and see that actually this guy, as a replacement for Yohan Cabaye, is a fantastic deep-lying playmaker. So personally for me, really excited about this signing. And if you do want to, you know, have a look and find out more about these players, you know, Guaita, Kouyate and Max Meyer, I have posted videos on the Crystal Palace TV YouTube channel. Go on there, check out the videos, basically just highlights from their career so far, and that will just give you a better idea of their playing style and obviously the quality they have got. And I would recommend highly the Max Meyer one, because if you watch that, it just gives you an idea of, yes, he doesn't score many goals, but if you see his overall play, it is really quite impressive. And now, of course, our final player we signed on deadline day, Jordan Ayew. Yes, he was sort of linked with us the same time as Kouyate and Max Meyer were, but this one, because of, you know, the deal broke down and the deal was back on and so forth, because of that it went all the way down to deadline day. He obviously had a medical on deadline day, everything was completed, and it was announced quite late on deadline day. But what you've got to look at this is that yes, it's a loan, but we've got an agreement, I think it is, or a clause where we can buy him in January. But yes, it's a loan, but people are saying that Jordan Ayew, the last 4 clubs he's been to, they've been relegated. And yes, that's true, you know, the last 4 clubs he's been to are relegated, But then, at the same time, if you look back at history, Scott Dann was exactly the same. You know, he was renowned for getting relegated at whichever club he was at. Yet when he came to Palace, did we get relegated? No. And actually, he turned out to be one of our better players. So before people go on and jump on all of these football accounts saying that Palace are going to get relegated because we've signed Jordan Ayew, you know, they've got to really look at it as a whole. You know, did these clubs that got relegated have as quality players as the likes of Wilfried Zaha, Christian Benteke, Luka Milivojevic, Mamadou Sakho, James Tompkins? Did they have players of this quality? Probably not. And also you've got to look at the fact that, like I've said, the example of Scott Dann, but also after the FA Cup final, because after the FA Cup final people said Palace are going to get relegated because the last 3 teams that made it to the FA Cup final, so Aston Villa, I think it was Hull, and Wigan Athletic as well, so these 3 teams got relegated the season after they were in the FA Cup final. So everyone was just saying Palace are going to get relegated. And did we get relegated? No. So it just shows that actually sometimes these trends are there to be broken, and sometimes it just shows that sometimes they're just sheer coincidence that they happen. But I must say, Jordan Ayew on a loan, it's quite risk-free in terms of we haven't got much money. But I certainly do think it's great that we've got a clause, or reportedly we've got a clause, where we can buy him in January. Because certainly, if he does perform, I do think he could be a very good squad player for us. And that moves me on to how I think he will be used in the squad. So of course, Bakary Sako, ultimately he's left the club, he rejected a new deal. And I personally think Jordan Ayew will be that replacement for Bakary Sako. You know, I don't necessarily see Ayew start unless he does fantastic and someone like Jeffrey Schlupp is dropped. So personally for me, Jordan Ayew is that Bakary Sako replacement, someone who can come off the bench, give us a bit of pace, and ultimately, if someone like Wilfried Benteke gets injured, or even Sorloth to that extent, he's someone who can play that role because he's more of a free forward. You know, he's not necessarily a set striker or a set winger. He's a player who can drift in and out of positions. He's got the pace, he's got good shooting ability, very physical. So the fact that we've got someone like that is obviously great as well. And like I've said, a replacement for Bakary Sako. Quite disappointed that he didn't stay at the club, but ultimately Bakary Sako, he only really had 2 sort of good months for Palace. You know, when he first joined, and obviously just before he left, he got the injury, he had fantastic bits of form. In between that, he was pretty rubbish. So ultimately, we've got someone like Jordan Ayew, who's proven Premier League goal scorer with both Aston Villa and Swansea. He's scored loads of goals for his other clubs. And of course, what you've got to look at is, yes, he may have got relegated at the clubs he's been at, but last season he won 3 awards at Swansea. You know, he won their Player of the Season, he won their Goal of the Season, and also he won another award as well. So I think he won the Players Player of the Season, and also the main Player of the Season as well. So the fact that he won these 3 awards whilst also being their top scorer as well, you know, you've got to give credit to him. And I think he'll be a valued asset to Palace going forward. I think he'll be a really good sort of option for us off the bench. And like we've seen with him last season, you know, he scored 2 cracking goals against us. Yes, ultimately one of them came from a Hennessy mistake, but the other one was an absolutely fantastic strike from about 20 yards out. So not only are we getting a player who can obviously tap in, get a few goals, I think he got 7 last year, but also we're getting a player who's got that quality to hit one from just outside the box. And like I've said, it's a risk-free signing on a loan, but I personally think he's a good squad player, and hopefully we do sort of trigger that option to get him permanently, because I think at 26 years old, just heading into his prime, I do think he can be a good player for us going forward. But overall in this business, obviously we brought in 4 players, only spent about £9.5 million. Obviously there's agents fees and stuff like that, but the reported fees about £9.5 million, and obviously a loan and 2 frees. That's obviously great business, and considering, you know, we have a tight budget, we've overspent, we needed to keep control of our wage bill, I think this is really shrewd business. You know, we haven't got a lot of money, yet we've managed to sign a player with, you know, lots of Premier League experience for £9.5 million. We've managed to get 2 international level players, you know, in Guaita, the goalkeeper, and Max Meyer. We've managed to get these people for free, albeit there's, you know, agent fees and stuff, but we managed to get these 2 guys, one who's one of the best goalkeepers in the league last season, one of them who is one of the most promising German talents, as well as getting someone on loan with Premier League experience who can score goals. You've got to say that's really shrewd business, really good business from Palace. But of course, just to go through a few of the outs, you know, the players who've left the club. Obviously Damien Delaney, club legend or club icon, whatever you want to class him as. I think he's a legend, but Damien Delaney, obviously at the end of his contract, got released, went to Cork City, which is where he started his football career, and good luck to him, because I think he was an absolutely fantastic servant for the club. But obviously it was the right time for him to move. He weren't really up to the Premier League standard anymore, and it's good to see that he scored a goal for Cork City the other day. So it's obviously great to see that he's moved on to his hometown club, and of course he's doing well for them. And I think it's a good move for both us and Delaney, because ultimately he weren't really going to get any game time at Palace. He weren't really up to the standard anymore. So of course it's great to see that he's moved on. And obviously the disappointing ones are the likes of Yohan Cabaye, Bakary Sako. You know, these are players who it would have been nice to see them stay at Palace. Certainly Cabaye, for example, I think he maybe people will say his legs are going, but I still think he had maybe 1 or 2 more extra seasons he could play with Palace. You know, yes, his goals and assists were slightly declining, but much like Max Meyer, his game was not about scoring or assisting goals. It was about being that deep line playmaker, which he'd done so well. And obviously he'll be a really disappointing miss for Palace. And obviously he's joined a UAE club, Al Nassr. So good luck to him. I think it's quite obvious that he's gone to take his money, but I don't really say we can't really. I don't know how to say this, because it's quite difficult. There's 2 sort of opinions on this, and people are quite split about it. You know, people are saying, well, he might feel he's not up to the Premier League anymore, so he's just gone, you know, abroad. Well, I say gone abroad, he's gone to the Middle East. Or people could say he's a cash out, he's just gone to get the money. Whatever it is, Cabaye served our club well. Yes, maybe he may not have lived up to the hype of all the Palace fans, but I still think he done a decent job in his 3 seasons here, and certainly will be missed. Once again, Bakary Sako, very crucial last season in keeping us up. But other than that, and when he first started at the club, in between he's always been injured, hasn't really been that great. So ultimately, he's going to sort of have a cult hero status in the fact that he was good for some parts, injured for others, and obviously bad for the majority of his time at Palace. But he certainly will be missed, because as he proved last season, with Roy Hodgson as the manager who gets the best out of players, Roy Hodgson turned Bakary Sako into a very effective player, and certainly made the use out of it. And like I've said, his goals were quite crucial to us staying up. And obviously people like, you know, Bakary Sako, Lee Chung-yong, these were players who we could bring off the bench, and obviously they weren't the best squad depth, but they still gave us depth. So once again, just going back to our signings, Kouyate comes into the squad, replaces Yohan Cabaye, let's say, and then you've got someone like Max Meyer, who, yes, ultimately I think he's going to play the Yohan Cabaye role, but he can come in and replace Chung-yong as well. So once again, we're just improving our squad depth. Yes, it's disappointing to see these players go, but overall we're sort of improving the overall squad depth for the team. And as I mentioned with Vicente Guaita, Diego Cavalieri's been released, and obviously Guaita came in, so that's just a simple swap deal. And ultimately Cavalieri was only sort of temporary, but it's nice to see now that we've actually got proper good depth in the goalkeeping department, as well as sort of in our midfield and our attack. Yes, the defence looks a bit shaky, but I still think overall our squad depth has improved over the summer, and certainly our 4 signings have done quite a lot to improve that. Now the final out I'm just going to talk about, you know, Jarosław Jach. He played quite a lot in pre-season before going out on loan to Rosenborg. It's a season-long loan, probably good for him to get a bit of experience. And one point I've heard people say is the fact that if Palace thought he had a future, they probably would have loaned him to an English club, you know, maybe League One, just so he can get a bit of experience. And maybe the fact that he went abroad shows that Palace haven't really got a future for him, because they're not loaning him to a club of a level which would help him get up to the Premier League standard. Whatever it is, I think Jach did look quite impressive in some parts in pre-season. Other parts he didn't look that great. So overall, he's sort of a player who's a bit hit and miss at the minute. We don't know whether he'll be good, don't know whether he'll be terrible. So just send him out on loan. Hopefully he gets a bit more experience and maybe comes back a better player. And even if he doesn't, because we brought him so cheap, we'll probably just flog him off anyway. But like I say, and I've said this quite a lot over the last few seasons, it's always important for young players, well I say he's young, he's 23, but it's always good for these young players to go out on loan, and hopefully for Jach it just gives him that opportunity of regular game time again, and hopefully he'll come back to Palace either as a better player or with a bit more resale value if Palace don't think he necessarily is good enough. But obviously that was just my overall opinion. I know I did go on for quite a bit, but that was just my overall opinion on the new signings. If there's anything you think I've missed, then of course do feel free to comment below, or to comment, message us on Twitter at @eCrystalPalace. And obviously this is generally what I thought they would add to the team this season. But like I've already said, obviously you may have a different opinion to me, so do comment below in the YouTube comments, or once again contact us on Twitter with your comments and your views on the new signings. and in particular what you can expect from them in the coming weeks. So there you have it. Now you've heard what Vicente Guaita, Cheikhou Kouyate, Max Meyer and Jordan Ayew had to say after joining the club. That concludes this week's podcast. But make sure to comment next week for my post-match review of the game against Fulham. So thanks for listening, and remember to up the Palace.